What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. But this isn't just an ordinary old video. This is the finale of building the Battle of Ryloth in LEGO. It has been a month of hard work, and this is going to be the final update. In this episode, I'm going to be finishing the mock. So there is a ton of work ahead of us in this video. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Now to start this episode off, we have a haul of parts right here, what should get us through finishing off this mock, the final haul of building Ryloth. I hope the last haul I did also say that, and unfortunately that wasn't the case, but we have a ton of parts that we're going to need, mostly the tiles that we need to finish off tiling this off, as well as some other stuff for other videos in the future that we will be talking about a little bit later on this channel, and then all of the other slopes to finish building the mountain and wall, and maybe most importantly, a ton of studs to work on the trees. But I've got a ton of building ahead of me, so let's get started. Now, finishing up these walls was a little bit tricky because I had to make sure that they all lined up, as well as making sure that they all kind of had the same level of detail, so one didn't look out of place from another. Once I did that, it's the same kind of process of just putting different slopes and different tiling to make the wall look, well, like a mountain and not just like a bunch of Lego bricks. And I think that I accomplished that pretty well here. Now, I was kind of struggling getting the pieces, but once you get it done on one, you kind of just copy and paste it from one to the other, and I was happy with how it ended up turning out. Now that the wall's done, I can finally start working on some detail and finishing off the tiling. Now, picking up where I left off, I put down some tile, and then I wanted to add in a crashed vulture droid as it was shown in that episode. I did a small little textured background to kind of show off the trail of the vulture droid dragging once it crashed. And once I got that down, I finished off working on tiling, putting down my tiles, and adding a bit more detail. Once again, I have underestimated the number of pieces I was going to need for this mock. I would say hands down, it has been the hardest part of this mock, has been ordering pieces, ordering the right number of pieces, and ordering the right pieces in general. I would say 100% the hardest part of building this mock, in my opinion, but I think that it is to a point where it is almost done, and I did already order the pieces. They should be getting here in 3 days, so it's not going to delay this video at all. It's just going to be me taking a little bit of break, which is good. It'll give me some time to plan out what I want to do for the rest of this, as well as how I want to fill up the main area. But what I did put in some trees. I finalized how I wanted to do the trees. We have 2 over there. I've did a little bit of a combination between some different leaves to get the tops, and I also have 2 over here. I only had the pieces to do 2 trees, but I do think that they add in. I didn't want to fill it up with trees because then I wouldn't have room to put in any vehicles and stuff like that. And I also did rewatch this episode, and there was a crashed vulture droid, so I did my best to get that in there, and I think it looks pretty good. It definitely adds. I did a little streak over there. We'll get a closer look at that later, but right now I really just have to wait to get these pieces in, as well as I'm going to try and start planning out what I want to do with the minifigures, start gathering all of that up, and gathering some vehicles, and planning out how I want to set up this battle, and also figuring out what I want to do for the top area up there. Now, another thing that was brought to my attention, something that I wanted to add to this mock, was going to be some Twi'lek characters. So the only ones that I actually have are in Aayla Secura, as well as 3 different versions of Hera right here. So I'm gonna see what I can do, mix and matching some pieces to see what I can make. I mean, they're all gonna kind of have the same face if I'm just using Hera's, like, you know, face and headpiece. But I think I can get some cool diversity and get some nice Twi'lek warriors to go in this mock as well. And I'll just start going through and seeing what I can do for those to add in a little bit later in this mock. Okay, I put together 3 quick little Twi'lek warriors right here. We have all 3. Let me grab them up. I did 2 with Hera and 1 with Aayla Secura, and I do have another 2 Heras that I could use to make more if I need, but I'm not really trying to fill this up with a bunch of Twi'leks. I want the main focus to be the clones, and I was thinking of putting these guys up on the ridge at the very top at the end, but right now I'm kind of at a standstill. I can't really do much more work on this until I get my parts in, because I need to finish this area first before I start staging anything, and I want to do maybe some different huts and other stuff like that back there, and then I can't really work on this upper part until I have the pieces to tile it off properly and all of that. So I think I'm kind of at a standstill now, so I am just gonna sit back, relax, and wait for these pieces to come in, and I will catch you guys in a few days once that package finally gets here. The parts have arrived. We have a big old package right here to take a look at, and this is hopefully finally the last thing of parts that I will have to order for this mock. And hopefully this will take us to the end of Ryloth. If I can get this open, this is actually packed a little tighter than I thought it was going to be, but there we go. We also have some pieces for another upcoming mock after Ryloth, but I'll talk more about that in some later videos. But let's get in here and we shall see what we have got. You can probably guess what the other one is going to be, so feel free to leave a guess in the comments of what you think this next mock is going to be based on some of the colors. But first off, we just have a ton of these tiles that should be enough to finish this off. Then we have, oh, this is packaged interesting. I've never seen something done like this. This is really cool though. But we have some other of the little like tan plates to help finish with the detailing. And then all these other colors are for another mock. Same with this stuff as well. So I'm gonna get to tiling, get to work, and hopefully be able to finish this finally. So I'll hit you with a time lapse of me finishing all of this up. I quickly got back to work, picking up where I left off previously. I really just wanted to knock out all of these tiles. Now, because this is where the ATTE was going to sit later on, I didn't really have to do much detail or even put any bricks. I just had to keep it all tile and just get it covered up so you couldn't see the ugly underplating. So I just put down tiles all over, not really caring about the detail and having studs to put minifigs on because it would all be covered up in the end. Then moving to the front area, I started putting some more studs, so I did have the option to put minifigs there later. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, and I'm super happy that I'm finally done with tiling. Okay, it took a lot of time. It's currently 2:13 a.m. right now, but it is done. The actual just tiling everything off. I came into a bit of a scare when doing the top part all the way up here because I thought that I had ran out of pieces again, but I was able to stretch them out and finally get this done. It's actually such a relief to finally have this all tiled off and plated up and have it just all fold out. And now it's like the whole like big part of this is done. It's really just adding in a couple more details and then actually staging this battle with all of the different minifigs and vehicles and putting the story together. So that's what I'm going to do next. However, it is pretty late, so I might get a little bit of work done, but I think tomorrow is when I am going to finish this up. Well, technically later today, but I'm gonna go sleep for a bit and then we'll come back and finish off this mock. I've gone and gathered all of the minifigs that I'm going to be using in this mock. We have all of just the Clone Wars style clones. We have some gunners as well to man the ATTE. We have Amagun D right there, a nice custom. We have some ARF troopers that I might try and work in, as well as our Twi'leks from earlier, as well as this whole thing of droids and other droid vehicles in there that I might work around with. But now it's time to get to the fun part and start staging this and finally finishing off this mock, putting in all of the minifigs and all of the final details. Now, I have been anticipating this moment for over a month now, putting all of the minifigures down and finally staging this epic battle, the Battle of Ryloth. It has been a month in the making, and it has been a lot of fun, and it finally comes to a bittersweet ending, and I wanted to thank all of you for making this journey possible. Now, I wanted to make sure that the droids outnumbered the clones, because looking back at the episode, they were severely outnumbered, and I think I did that pretty well. And just like that, after a month of hard work, it is finally done. The Battle of Ryloth is finished. part of me still can't believe that I actually finished and completed this mock. It feels like it was just the other day when I was planning this out and messing around with the idea of actually doing a large scale mock. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I just want to thank all of you for watching, for actually making it possible for me to be here and be building this mock right now. So I truly do thank all of you. This mock was a ton of fun to build, and I'm very excited for what is to come. It may not be the greatest mock that you've ever seen, but I think for a starting mock, it's definitely something for me to be proud of, and I'm excited to see what I can do in the future with the new acquired skills that I got from building this mock. But without further ado, I'm going to give you the final rundown and walk through this mock. Now, starting off on the Republic side of things, I didn't want the clones to overpower this mock for two reasons. The first being, in the episode, they are severely outnumbered by the Separatist, and the second, I think just putting a ton of clones on this mock would have taken away from the overall build and made the terrain just take away, as the terrain is the main focus of this build. I didn't want it just be covered in clones, so I'm actually pretty happy with what I ended up doing. And I have the Twi'leks I'll put in here as well. There's a small little meeting going on back here, because as you see in the episode, there's a bunch of different cargo crates and other stuff like that. I wish I had done a little more research before starting, because I would have loved to have put a trench in here. I didn't really fully watch the episode, so I didn't realize that there was a trench in that scene, but I think it would have been a cool addition to do, but it's something to think of for the next time. But I am still happy with how the terrain turned out. I think overall, just all the little details, something I think was a big plus to this mock was the light nougat kind of strips coming through. I think if this was just completely in tan, it would have looked kind of ugly and it would have been very boring. I think this adds a bit of life and really makes the mock look a bit better on the backside. Same goes for the wall. The wall was something that I was stressing quite a bit during this mock. I had no clue how to do it, no idea what to do for this, but thanks to a bunch of good suggestions in the comments, I was able to figure it out. So thank you to everyone who did suggest and help with that. I think the technique that I ended up going for, well, not perfect, turned out really well, and it does look really nice in my opinion. Definitely a technique that I will be using in the future. And then moving on to the Separatist side of things, I tried to get a ton of different droids in here just because, you know, the droids needed to outnumber the clones. I tried to get a nice mixture of different droids in here. Starting in the front, I had all of just the normal battle droids, and then I had these supers in the back like they were coming in waves, because that's kind of how it is in the show. I stuck in my little custom crab droid back there as well, and a down vulture droid that was crushing that poor clone right there. I thought that was a fun little inclusion, and I'm actually very happy with how the crashed vulture droid came out. We'll get a closer look over there, and I got like a nice little effect there with the charred up back. I think that turned out better. That was another thing that I wasn't really sure how I was going to do, but I think it turned out pretty well. As for the different foliage areas, this is something that I would have liked to improve on, adding some more foliage in here, as I think it would have added some more diversity, but I do think the trees turned out good, as well as the other trees over here. But moving on to the rest of the Separatists, they have their small tank right here with the nice droid up top with the why can't I think of the name of this droid right now, but just the commander droid, or the tactical droid. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word for a second, but I think that does add, you know, he's adding on to the army. He is the one in command, kind of showing just how outnumbered the clones are and how much of a fight they're going to have to put off to hold off the Separatist. And then moving up to another spot that I was stressing quite a bit, this top area right up here, I have a bit of an Easter egg. I thought of this kind of separate from the mock, but if you look at the other episodes on Ryloth, you have Mace Windu also on Ryloth. I don't know if that's the same arc, I think it's a different arc, but Mace Windu was on Ryloth at one point with these clone troopers, so I thought that this upper area could be a little Easter egg area, because I didn't really know what to do with it. I was running out of parts, so I really struggled to actually tile this off, and it's also not super stable. If you look back to when I was building this, it was probably what I struggled the most with, other than the wall. Well, I guess it's kind of the same thing, making the wall able to stand up as well as this top part, but I do think it turned out pretty nice. There's some droids, there's a small little spider droid, then some commando droids, and then Mace Windu, and there's also this droid that got pushed off, who is falling down. Kind of funny. I think that's nice. It kind of ties these two together, making it look like it's one of the same thing and not just, you know, two different parts of the mock. And then, you know, just some other clones over there. I stuck my sig fig in as well, just because why not? But I mean, overall, that kind of does it. It is a very basic mock. It's nothing like crazy going on here, but I think for a starting mock, this was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did, and I'm hoping to do way more mocks in the future on larger scales and improving on a bunch more different things. Let me know what you thought about this mock, and let me know what you want to see me build next, because I am looking to start another large scale mock, and I want to go bigger and better than this. So any suggestions, leave them down below in the comments, as well as what you thought about this build, and, you know, know, any suggestions on how I can improve my building in the future. But I truly do want to thank each and every one of you for watching these videos. It, you know, it helps me, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me, you know, being able to actually build these mocks and post these videos, which has been a lot of fun. So I really do want to thank you all for that. And I'm looking forward to all of the new mocks that I do coming into 2025. Thank you all so much. I hope you all stay safe. Drew, signing out.